The thing about Karen is that she never knew when to stop. Her HOA had already tried to fine me for improper livestock on my own ranch, tried to demand dues I didn't owe, and even sent fake inspectors to my property. But nothing compared to the day her reckless entitlement crossed the line and put my child's life in danger. It was a warm Saturday morning. My youngest son had just learned how to ride his bike without training wheels. He was so proud, zooming up and down the gravel driveway, hair sticking up under his helmet, shouting for me to watch every trick. I sat on the porch with my coffee, cheering him on. That's when Karen appeared. Her SUV barreled down the road like she was in a drag race. She didn't even slow down as she turned toward my property, cutting across the shoulder, music blasting. I waved frantically for her to slow down, but she ignored me. My son was pedaling toward the driveway entrance at that exact moment. Then it happened. Tires screeched, my boy toppled sideways into the grass, and Karen's SUV swerved just enough to clip the edge of his bike. The frame bent, the handlebars snapped, and my child was left trembling on the ground with tears streaming down his face. I sprinted to him, heart pounding. Thank God he wasn't seriously hurt, just scraped and shaken. But Karen? She jumped out of her car, looked at the dented bike, and the first words out of her mouth were, "Why was he in the street? That's a violation of HOA safety codes. I should call the police on you." Couldn't believe it. My child had almost been hit, and she was threatening me. I clenched my jaw, forcing myself to stay calm in front of my son. "Karen, you nearly ran over my boy. You were speeding. You're trespassing on my land. Leave. Now." Instead of leaving, she whipped out her phone and actually dialed 911. "I need officers immediately," she shouted into the receiver. "This man is endangering children by letting his kid play in the road. He tried to attack me when I told him the rules." I stood there in shock, watching her twist reality into her own sick version. But here's where the tables turned. When the real police showed up minutes later, Karen sprinted toward them, crocodile tears streaming, pointing at me like she'd just uncovered a criminal. "He's violent. He won't follow HOA safety rules. His child shouldn't even be out here." The officers barely glanced at me before one of them sighed and said, "Ma'am, this property isn't part of your HOA." Karen froze. The officer walked past her to check on my son, who bravely held up his broken bike and explained how Karen's SUV had hit it. The officer studied the dent, the skid marks, and Karen's tire tracks still fresh in the dirt. Then he turned back to her. "Ma'am, did you strike this bicycle with your vehicle?" Karen stammered. It wasn't my fault. He was in the road. That's against HOA code." The officer's expression hardened. "There is no HOA code here, and you were speeding, trespassing, and endangering a minor. You need to put your hands where I can see them." The look on her face was priceless. One second she was smug, convinced she'd flipped the script on me. The next, she was being handcuffed on the hood of her own SUV while my son watched in awe. She screamed the whole time, "This isn't fair. He's breaking the rules. I am the HOA." But the officers weren't buying it. Karen was arrested on the spot for reckless endangerment, trespassing, and filing a false police report. Her SUV was towed away, and her precious HOA board tried, and failed, to protect her by spinning the story in community newsletters. By the time the real facts came out in court, even her allies turned their backs. The judge ordered her license suspended, slapped her with fines, and gave her probation with mandatory driving classes. On top of that, I sued her civilly for damages to my son's bike and the trauma she caused. I won easily, but the best part? My son, who had been terrified of riding again, got a brand new top-of-the-line by courtesy of Karen's settlement money. And when he finally hopped back on and pedaled across the yard, he shouted, "I'm faster than Karen's car." Couldn't have been prouder. Karen thought she could scare us, that her HOA authority gave her the right to rewrite reality. Instead, she exposed herself as reckless, dangerous, and powerless outside her little bubble. She hit my child's bike, but in the end, she only wrecked her own life.